My way, or the highway, and in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
What's up, everybody? That almost worked. What's up, everybody? Ryan Anderson, Jackson Muniz, and Noah Maher here for the Gallop Out. Noah gonna join us for the show because he's out at Saratoga. So Noah, Jackson, what's it like out there?
So
it's great. I'm excited for opening day at Del Mar. Excited to be here at Saratoga, and I got my Keelan hat on. So we're repping all the top dogs in the industry.
Repping in all three major circuits, I guess.
Yeah.
No love for the Haskell, I guess, but that's on you.
Well,
But
Napoleon's
anyway,
that one for fun, so
Yeah,
it's
then-
not that interesting.
then
of a
he'll get
race.
some merch, right?
but hey, my other two West Coast people decided to go to Saratoga instead of opening day at Del Mar, but no concern. We got full card analysis from opening day at Del Mar. You guys are a little fake for that. I'm not gonna lie though.
Well, I'm getting paid to be here, so I'm not that upset about
That's
it.
true. I'm not so upset at you, but this other guy next to you in the white hoodie, he's opting to go east instead of west. I never thought I'd see the day.
I know. Some people have tagged me as a traitor. Some people have I've lost touch with people because they've been upset that I headed west.
Is your dad mad at you? Is he going?
No, he's not going.
He'll go Saturday.
No, but we'll be betting. I mean, we were standing right here doing the Saturday show last night, so it's not like I won't be betting. I'll just I'll be at Saratoga on the first turn and just waiting until 5 o'clock turns around, and then I can actually start betting.
There we go. Well, yeah, I guess 5:00 p.m. Eastern is first post out there, so you got a full day ahead of you before Del Mar starts. So don't blow your bankroll on Haskell Day, or not Haskell Day. That's Friday.
Saratoga, whatever else is going on.
Yeah, Saratoga, wherever else you place your bets. Let's go dive into opening day. It is early, so it's going to be one of those shows for me. I can already feel it. But Chris Couples joining us, spa over Del Mar, must have gained some perspective. Yeah, with age and experience comes a new version of perspective. So that's always interesting, Chris. That's a great point you bring up, though. All right. Any thoughts, race one, Jackson, Noah? Obviously, this is we were talking in the pre-show. This is one of the harder races every year, just because everybody's kind of either dropping a win or placing their horses aggressively for a spot here.
Yeah, this is always a fun race, and as you said, everyone really wants to win this first race in the meet, and it's always the same condition every year. So I do think you have connections kind of planning it out a couple months in advance. Maybe they're looking for a claim that they can fit in this spot, and I think that might fit the bill for Cowboy Mike in here. When Miotti claimed him two back out of a state bred race, we actually ran fine going the two turns at San Anita. And then it just felt like they're a maintenance race almost. Last time at Los Al, they cut him back to 6.5. They put him up against a much, much tougher field where he was going to be protected. Now they're back into a much more realistic spot, back into a distance where he's supposed to be best at. And his best races do put him right there up against everyone else. And this is the easiest field he's faced in a long, long time. So I look, we're doing this before the odds come out. I don't think he's going to be any kind of price, but I would assume he's going to be about 3-1, 4-1-ish, because this is a competitive field, but I do think he's got the best credentials.
Yeah, you and I have similar opinions here. I was between the 5 and the 7. I'm sure we'll go over the 7. Hard to figure. Yeah, it felt like a drop to win spot for Cowboy Mike. The last race felt like, as you said, keep protected for a spot like this, get that first win of Del Mar, and they'd kind of be okay moving on. Noah, any thoughts in race one to kick things off at the Seaside Oval?
I thought there were maybe a couple horses that probably are going to be prices that going to be coming from off the pace. I mean, we always project that this opening day race, those jocks are trying to get the lead in the going around the first turn. Habeas was one. I know Ayuso's been a little more aggressive as of late after he's hopped on, but one that I thought could maybe sit a good trip, sit in the pocket from post 2. And the one I didn't really know what to do with, I wouldn't be expected if he ran big, was Swaggish, who's the 3 runner. Just been really disappointing as of late, taking some serious money in those races as well. But it's hard for me to believe that, Sam Walensky, who's done this time and time again, at least the last couple of years, where he's shipped horses over from South Florida over to Southern California to get that added purse bonus. Just seems hard to believe that this horse is going to throw in another clunker. Whether or not he's going to be good enough to get there in time remains to be seen. But I think the fact that Joel hops on, we were talking about that yesterday, the added opportunities that Joel is going to be getting with the Baffert runners and some other well-known stables over on the West Coast. So interested to see what price that one goes off at. Whether or not he can get back to that form remains to be seen.
Yeah. Look, I don't hate it. Obviously, yeah, track profile-wise, we always see Del Mar typically favor some of that speed. Some days it does play more fair than others. But, Jackson, let's talk about the pace scenario real quick in this race, and then we'll keep moving right along. I felt like it was going to be between the 7 hard to figure and the 8 Pioneer Prince for Doug O'Neill going turf to dirt. Did you think they were going to duel on the front end, or do you think there is a speed of the speed kind of candidate here?
I think the pace has a chance to be hot because you have the 2 that you mentioned. You have Bias, who always wants to be up there. Even Duran is a horse when he's at his best, and he does have some races that are good enough. He's always up there too. Same with Cowboy Mike. So, look, everyone's aware that speed is very good on the dirt here at Del Mar, especially going the 2 turns, and they're going to ride accordingly. They're going to be very aggressive. So we'll see how that plays out. The one interesting long shot I thought in here was Mighty Kai, because if that pace does develop, he's a horse that if you look through his races, it's just slow pace, kind of closed, ran okay, slow pace, and he's been running fine. And I think this is the first time in a long time where he's actually going to have an honest pace in front of him. Now, this is also the toughest field he's faced in a while, so that's going to come into play too. But we're talking about a horse that's going to be double-digit odds, I would guess.
I would think so too. I think that's right. Yeah, he is kind of the most proven closer in here. Maybe he doesn't get the job done, get his picture taken all that much, but he hasn't necessarily faced some of those fast paces. Go on to race number 2. Race number 2. Anybody have thoughts here? Noah, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, well, I think the race, even though she's not going to be much of a price, I think the race probably goes through Red Cherry, who's definitely the speed of the speed. There's potential that she gets loose on the front end, which you typically don't see early on in the meet. But when you crawl up front, it's very capable of happening, and it just doesn't seem like there's really another pace presence to really go with her, like there kind of was last time. I know she was length clear, but they were moving right along, and she put away the other speed. Just got caught by Peanut Butter Bomb, who also runs back this weekend. I can't remember if it's opening day or
Saturday in the San Clemente, yeah.
That's right. I've handicapped so many damn races at this point. I have no idea what's going on.
Okay, I got you.
I do remember seeing
you have
that
to handicap a lot of races. So sad.
But it does seem like she's going to be tough on the front end. If anybody does run her down, I thought the 6, who was closing a little bit last time, second time in the States for Leonard Powell, Ayuso rides that one back again. I thought you could see some improvement from there. But like I said, I think it probably runs through the 2 just because I think she's going to get things her own way.
Absolutely. I also landed on Red Cherry as well. I thought the works were very promising. Seems to have been pulling the rider along in not the most recent. I didn't see that one available on July the 12th, but the 2 previous to that on the 6th and the 28th. Jackson, I'll go to you. Are you also on Red Cherry? And what are your thoughts on Noah actually picking Armando Ayuso in a race?
Well, he did it last night too.
Well, I picked the 2, so
he's now done it twice in the last 24 hours for the first time in 2 years.
He's finally accepting the fact that he loves that boy Ayuso and that he can win races.
Yeah,
correct. So my plan is
Better
probably
late than never.
Fade both times he does it because that's just not a good angle.
Yeah,
not a race I'm probably going to be betting too heavily. The horse I'm curious to see how she runs is Peppermint Dash for Richie Baltus on the rail, just because I remember watching her debut and kind of being impressed with how she ran that day, especially going out for Baltus, who is just not a very good trainer first time out. And the fact that she ran that well and also won running down Somerset West, who's another one that's entered in the San Clemente. She ran down a quality filly that day. We'll see what kind of price she's going to be in here. I agree. Red Cherry looks completely loose, so I don't know if I want to be betting her if she's going to be a Peppermint Dash, I should say, is going to be like 3-1. But if she's trips up a little bit, if she's a 4th choice or so, I'll probably put a few bucks on her.
What do we think the off odds or even morning line is going to be on Red Cherry?
She's
sub even money.
I was maybe thinking like 7-5, 8-5.
Yeah.
I don't know if they go crazy, but I can see her getting pretty severely bet.
Yeah, I think she'll be definitely a convincing favorite in here. Not sure what the odds are going to be, but yeah, I like her. And Jackson mentioned the horse I kind of liked in second, and Peppermint Dash, as I click on Richard Baltus's trainer stats. But yeah, Red Cherry for me. I felt like he's going to be loose she's going to be loose under Joelle Rosario. It'll be an interesting summer to see how Joelle kind of adapts to everything. Race number 3, Jackson, I'll start with you. Any thoughts? They're going 5.5 for maiden optional claimers for $150,000 for the 2-year-olds. I like that they're riding these races. It helps, all the other stables except for that one stable that has the $18 million horses throughout the barn. So it helps the competitive nature of these races, and I'm all for it. So do you have any thoughts here?
Well, first of all, I'd like to make fun of my brother because we talked about this race on Monday. And he says, why would they ever card this kind of race? No one would ever claim a horse for $150,000. He's wrong, because there's a horse later on in the card that we're going to talk about that was claimed out of this race last year and came out of there to run second in the Breeders' Cup. So, Lucas, you have no idea what you're talking about, making things up.
Hashtag making things up.
As far as this race goes, I'm going to let Noah talk about it because we like the same horse, and I know he really, really likes this horse.
Well, he's probably just supposed to win, right? That's the inside runner, Charlie's Clock. The rail's typically not ideal, but when you're the speed of the speed, I don't think it really matters. So I think there's a potential where about a furlong into this race, JJ's got a length or length and a half lead, and he might just be bye-bye at that point. But show some serious speed on Stephen Foster Day, which is pretty important to mention because Peter Miller, obviously, for him to debut that runner on the slop and took a little bit money on a big day like that, I thought kind of speaks volumes. And coming back here on opening day, another big day in a relatively quick turnaround, might I add, probably something that you need to pay attention to. And I've been talking about it the last couple of weeks. I think Peter Miller is going to have a pretty good start to the meet, and wouldn't be surprised if this one kicked that thing off right there.
He does typically aim for Del Mar. He's one of those guys that kind of focuses all of his energy on having a really good summer at the Seaside Oval. Peter Miller with 2-year-old maidens making their second start on the dirt. He's 15 for 54, 28% positive ROI. So I was on the same runner. I felt like second time starter for him. It feels like that first start out at Churchill was a bit intentional. I think he, clearly the horse showed something in the morning, but also he's one of those trainers that likes to try and take advantage of the ship and win with his owners as much as possible. So with this horse being eligible for that as well. Drew to the inside, but you get a guy like JJ. This horse has the blinkers, I think, just get out to an early lead, as you guys said. And that should be it. I think Billy Goat to the far outside is kind of the logical second choice in here. I didn't love his debut. He stopped pretty bad. Now he wasn't really super. Misael didn't persevere with him all that much, and probably just saved him for another day. He could very well take a big step up in his second start. Doug's a lot stronger with his second time starters than he is with his first. So one to look out for, but for me, it's the rail horse and kind of move on. Jackson, any of the firsters in here catch your eye at all in the mornings? Worth anything?
I a little behind on my workouts, but
that's okay.
I felt like I will say it was interesting that McCarthy actually bred the horse he has in here. I don't know if I've ever seen him listed as the breeder. So
and he's in for the tag too, which is odd.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of it. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah,
that is interesting. I think starting him for the tag of 150K. I mean, that's a high tag. So maybe it. I was going to say sometimes maybe he's just trying to get away with one so he can enter into some of the starter races, but I don't think they're going to write any starter $150,000 races. So that'll be race number 3. Race number 4. 5 furlongs on the grass. Always so fun to handicap those type of races for $40,000 claimers. Jackson, I'll try and start with you this time. Where'd you end up, or if you had any thoughts here?
Yeah, tricky race. There's only 2 speeds, both drawn the inside with Code Duello and then alphabetical order. I was hoping that maybe the 2 Mubtada could just sit right behind them, and that was kind of the hope of this horse, who's been facing tougher as of late. Has a couple of really strong races here, going the flat 5 at Del Mar. They happened 2 years ago, but they were very strong, very fast races, and I'm just hoping he kind of trips out in the spot.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets back to those races in the summer meet of 2024, he's probably going to win.
Well, that's not going to happen. But he doesn't need to go that. He doesn't run that fast.
Yeah.
Right. He doesn't need to run that fast. Noah, what were your thoughts? Where'd you end up here?
Well, Jackson alluded to it. There are kind of two main speeds in here. I'm interested to see what Code Duello does from the inside because I'm not exactly sure he's as fast as he used to be or as fast as the 3. And Hector's not really the most send type guy out there on the West Coast. So I think he kind of might leave the 3 alphabetical.
It's not Hector. It's Ayuso.
Oh, it's not. It's Ayuso. Which maybe I should pay more attention to that. But I still think alphabetical order could be a little bit faster. And I feel like, even though these horses that get disrespected going the 5 furlongs on the turf at Del Mar, coming out of Los Al, they do get a little dismissed on the board, I think, sometimes. I think this one, if they kind of let him go, I know he faded really badly last time, but that was the last 100 yards. This is 5 furlongs. Maybe he can see it out.
Well, he was second to March of Time. I mean, that's a pretty good Baffert horse. This is a much easier spot.
Like he's also run some solid races at Los Al, going 1,000 yards, which is not a furlong and a half. We learned that very quickly. I just think he might be a little disrespected, and if he gets a loose lead, I think they got to come catch him.
I agree. What do you think is going to be price wise? Because I thought he was really interesting if he's able to take to the curve.
8 to 1.
Yeah,
10 to 1.
I wouldn't talk anyone.
Because I think like the horses to the outside will probably take money. Even though I wasn't really a huge fan of some of the closers, like Gregory's Pride probably has a chance if they hook up. The other one, I didn't really know what to do with Nasty Habit. I guess he could show some speed coming from Churchill Downs, but he's trying turf for the first time. Doncic is the one that always takes money, but I don't know. I think he's got to be 4th or 5th choice.
Yeah, at least. It's a fun race.
It is a fun race. First of many of these 5 furlong turf sprints that are going to be carded. I actually ended up with Code Duello. I felt like this horse 2-back was up on a fast pace and kind of just battled back on the inside. I think he was supposed to win that day, and he was sub even money in that spot and was able to repel all bids and draw away under Hector. I felt like going 5. We're going to see something similar. We'll know pretty quickly because he's never passed a horse in his life. So if he gets to the front, I think you're in good shape. If he's not in front and the 3 beats him, I think that we could be in a little bit of trouble. But I would say, depending on the price, I'd land on Code Duello. If he's, sub 2 to 1 in this spot and he's taking an abundance of money, which I don't think is impossible, I'd probably just sit the race. But I do think Code Duello at 2 to 1 or above would be a bet for me.
I think he'll get about 2 to 1.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm hoping for. He'd be fair there because of his body of experience. Yeah. Race number 5, state bred 2-year-old fillies going 5 furlongs on the main track. Noah, any thoughts in here? A lot of first time starters and some interesting other horses.
Yeah, this is a tough race. A couple of firsters I thought maybe can make some noise first out. The 4 looks like an angel. Daughter McKenzie paid $120,000 for her. Peter Hurton can kind of be sneaky sometimes with these 2-year-olds. He had one, was it last year or 2 years back, Miss Kona, who was a very good 2-year-old. Paramio rides here. Seems like she's got some speed. Could be one that you see on the front end. One I'm interested in but don't really have a ton of info on is the 1, Les Please, going out for a smaller barn and Eddie Freeman. Homebred for Rhythm Racing. There were some good stats with the dam and some of the sibs. Some sibs have had some success. One of them was actually a Doug Runner and Go On, who had some success, and some of the other sieves as well had some early precocity. So I thought that was interesting. The rail is obviously a no-no, but there might be a big enough price here with the small conditioner that you could get some value there. And then one I wanted to mention that you'll probably want next time is the 5 on Broadway. Jackson's talked about this at length. Georgie P is terrible first time out, so you definitely want this runner second time out. Seems one that could benefit from some added distance as well. So when you're looking at races in mid-August and on Broadway pops up, you'll probably want to bet her.
There we go. Not a cat horse, but on Broadway for a second-time starter for Georgie P.
What's that?
I think he had that starter last year. My Cat, who I think won second time out.
Yeah,
so we talked about him. So that was a reference to that. But anyway, Jackson, your thoughts in here is it's a competitive race. What were your thoughts?
I got nothing for you this race, to be honest. It's just
that's all good. We're just doing
that info. So you pick.
That's all good. Jackson Noah mentioned looks like an angel who I tentatively or somewhat landed on in here. I was between the 4 and the 7. I thought, looking at the works, looks like an angel, definitely outworked. I'm no sure thing from the gate work. And she looked pretty quick out of there, which I like to see from a first-time starter. You get Jaramillo aboard. He's going to be aggressive. Noah hit the nail on the head. Urton's not fantastic with 2-year-old starters, but he can win with them. He's about 10% over the last 5 years. He's 7 for 71. And yeah, again, he can certainly get the job done here. I did think Sauced Up was another one to mention, making her third career start, going 5 furlongs in this spot. She's closed nicely. She closed nicely in her last one. It was just kind of up on the pace in the debut, but I felt like experience could go a long way in here, and she had another nice 4 furlong gate drill from the looks of it on July 12th. So that was another one I wanted to give a chance to. Noah's smiling like he's got a shit-eating grin on his face. So what's up over there?
I was going to mention another horse with experience, even though they are the same age. The 3 Tijuana Money.
We do know age and experience goes a long way. So what are your thoughts on Tijuana Money here? I wouldn't
look over this Dad's Cap filly. But she ran 2 races at Kurt Paradis, and I watched both of them. The horses that she lost to both caught flyers. Two bad Caps d'Oro broke like a rocket, and then last time Caps and Cringe was like 1-20. So she was losing to some serious horses. Whether or not those are serious horses against what she's going to be facing on Friday remains to be seen. But it's Peter Miller, it's blinkers on, and again, I think that experience could maybe help out down the road.
Yeah, certainly think so. The blinkers on aspect with Kazushi aboard, you'd have to imagine this horse is going to be forward early and factor into the pace. So certainly one to keep an eye on. Board should tell a lot of the story here. Race number 6, we're going a mile and a 16th on the grass. Optional claiming non-winners are 2 other than Jackson. What odds do you think we're going to get on the number 4 Detain? And if you don't like him, who do you like in here?
Ooh, odds wise, he could go favorite in here, right? I mean, a very tepid choice.
I felt like he was going to be the favorite.
Yeah, I won't be surprised at all if it's going up McCarthy. He's a Euro that ran well first time out in North America.
Did he run well? I thought he was terrible.
Well, here's my dilemma with that race is, if I remember correctly, that weekend specifically, especially, like, wasn't a lot of horses wiring. Like, it felt like that, especially at the end of the meet, it got really speedy on the grass, and there wasn't a whole lot of off the pace moves, especially going the 2 turns. But I don't know. He ran fine. I am going to go with the horse that won or ran that beat him that day. Charlie's to blame.
Yeah.
He set a really fast pace in there, and it wasn't like he did it by himself. He did it while it was contested throughout. He was getting pressed and got the best of all the other speeds, and just got run down late by Ironman Cal, who A, is a horse of real quality, and B, got a just perfect trip. I mean, Ironman Cal looked the winner every step of the way in that race. And I think the other thing with Charlie's to blame is he's always been a horse that they've had high expectations for. As you can see, once he broke his maiden, they took him to Gulfstream and they got him in the Derby Trail. Once upon a time, he was really highly thought of. And he seems like he's finally rounding back into good form, where he's getting a little bit faster with each and every passing start. And I just don't think there's a whole lot of speed on paper, at least in here. I think he's going to be up front, or at least sitting second or third on a modest pace. And if he is, I think he's going to be pretty tough to beat.
Yeah, he certainly could be tough to beat. We talk all the time about how it's hard to go wire to wire at Del Mar. It's kind of one of those turf courses where often it favors someone who's from off the pace. But no, that's how he broke his maiden. Here at Del Mar, Drew Post won that day, went wire to wire. Are you on Charlie's to blame too, or did you pivot to somewhere else?
Yeah, I like him. He wouldn't be the top pick for me, but I'm definitely using him in pick 5, turf pick 3. He's right up there on what you would call, an A line. I think the pace scenario is very interesting because there's really not a whole lot of it on paper. I would kind of think that with it not necessarily working out last time and Detain not being able to get to Charlie's to blame last time, I would maybe think that maybe JJ would force the issue a little bit, especially with the inside post, and maybe show a little more tactical speed. Because outside of Charlie's to blame, I mean, who else is going to go with him? I mean, Tempest Volot maybe.
Typeform has Tempest Volot on the lead, which
I don't know
if I agree with that.
But I think maybe with McCarthy having 2, JJ would maybe be a little more aggressive, or Mike might tell him to be a little bit more aggressive, which hopefully would maybe set it up for the stablemate Moz, who I thought was a little bit interesting. He's one where the races that he puts it together are just as good as anybody in here. The problem is you just have no idea what you're going to get. It just seems like it took him a long while to run his best and get a little bit acclimated maybe here. I mean, he won his debut in Britain at a mile and 3:16, so clearly he's a horse that is capable and then likes to go that route distance. Threw him in some serious races at Santa Anita and Del Mar here a couple times, a little disappointing. Came back in the race 3 back in October. Was finally the one time we finally saw him put things together. Won that race pretty convincingly. Came back in the Twilight Derby. Ran a pretty bang-up second, I thought, at 15-1 to lose to Test Score that day, only length and a half behind him. I mean, Test Score is, 2-time, 3-time Grade 1 winner at this point. And then last time, I want to forgive because I don't know if you watched the race, but the saddle completely slipped. I thought he had a pretty good excuse in there. Came with a little run, but he wasn't beating those horses that day anyways. Had some time off, gets his main man, Rispoli. And like I said, I think just his best races alone put him squarely in the mix. I think the biggest question for him is whether he's going to get enough pace in front of him. But I think there's probably going to be a good enough price to find out.
Yeah, I don't hate the pick whatsoever. I do think that at his best, he can certainly contend with these. And yeah, one of the better stories for Del Mar is seeing Umberto back riding for the Eclipse Partners because he gets to write journalism again, which he did nothing wrong last year on him. So anyway, I'm all over the number 4 Detain. I'm hoping that he's
3.
Number 3 Detain. Did I mess up? No, number 4.
Oh, you're right. Number 4.
I'm bad enough at counting. I don't need you throwing me.
I think it was the 3 last time. Maybe that's what I thought.
There you go. He's hashtag making things up. Look, I was all over the number 4 Detain. Michael McCarthy's only 1 for 28 with his foreign shippers, and I tried to find the stat for second time with those same foreign shippers, and DRF couldn't work that for me. So I did that manually. So he's 6 for 28, but he has 6 more of those were in the money. So he's obviously much, much better with his second time starters coming from overseas. So I did think that with a good stateside debut, obviously he faced so much better overseas. And I think if he gets back to some of that and he has that race, has that foundation, that was his first race since September of 2025 when he raced on June the 7th. He's had a little bit of time to recover from that. He looks like he's just had kind of those steady maintenance drills that you like to see. And McCarthy's one that definitely points for this meet. So I thought Detain was very interesting in here. I think the point you guys made on Charlie's to blame was a strong one. But for me, I'm just going to single Detain, probably put a win bet on him and just kind of keep things moving. I do think second time in here could be big time for him. Race number 7, going a mile, $25,000 claimers. Jackson, Noah, any thoughts here? I had no thoughts in this race.
Damn it.
My thought is if Day at the Track draws in off the also eligibles, I will probably single him.
Okay.
And if he doesn't draw in, I have no idea. It could be anyone. The problem with this race is for being a mile race and just lower level claimers, like there's really no speed. The horse that's going to be forward is probably Amador coming out from Belterra with some lower speed figures, but I don't know if I trust him to take this field a long way. If he's 10-1, sure, yeah, you take a little stab, but he's not necessarily one of the horses to beat. Skyquest is another contender that's in here who's going to get bet off that monster number last year, the 80 buyer he got at Del Mar, but it was a crawling pace he was on top of. It was a merry-go-round race. Nobody moved. No one's really run back to that effort. I just didn't really know where to go. I mean, Curly's Agenda maybe is the horse to beat off of his most recent race at Santa Anita. It was just a second career start. He's a 3-year-old, so he theoretically has more upside than a lot of these. And he closed into a pace that wasn't that fast that day and got a good strong number doing that. So he's probably the horse to beat. I just think Day at the Track, if he does draw in, stretching out to 2 turns, he's been facing better when he's been running on the dirt, running some strong speed figures. And I just think he's going to trip out from that outside post if he's able to get in to this field. So if he gets in, I will probably single him. If he doesn't, this is probably a pretty spready race.
Yeah, this will be a spready race for me. Noah, any thoughts here? As Jackson had so few opinions, he went to the also eligible, so a horse that has to draw in. But it's that kind of race, to be fair.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have a couple of thoughts. They're not really any good ones. redial.
Which is okay because we're just doing a full card preview, so we don't need opinions in every race. It's okay to pass on some of these. Let's get to the opening day feature. It's the Mile Oceanside handicap for these 3-year-olds. Had opinions in here. I'm sure you guys did as well. Where'd we end up? Noah, I'll stick with you and we'll start with you.
Yeah, this is a great race. I mean, this is what Del Mar's all about. You get these 10, 12 horse turf fields. You can make cases for 7 or 8 of them, and I think you can make a case for just about everybody in this race. Very difficult. I'll be using 4, 7, 11 for sure. Top pick for me that I do want to talk about at least is the 7. Tis All That. And we were watching some videos last night. David Aragona picked this horse as well, which makes me feel pretty good. I know he was 36-1 last time, but he did everything but win. Excuse me. Just closed into a pace that, I mean, it didn't really fall apart, but it also, didn't, hold together. But he had some serious trouble in that race. I don't think the stretch out is going to be much of a problem in there. You go back and watch that race, he had some serious trouble, especially, trying to get some position going into the stretch. And I thought, galloped out well. I want to talk a little bit about some of the speed figures because Beyer would indicate that he took a really big step forward last time, but time form actually indicates that was a little more on par with what he had run 2 back. And I think in situations like this, typically we frown upon that a little bit, where the time form number is a little bit lesser than the Beyer, maybe suggesting that race wasn't as fast. But I think in this case, it might be a little more advantageous because in my eyes, it seems like it's more likely that he takes another step forward rather than that race being more of an outlier, because now he's paired up 105 time form tops, which makes me think that he's going to see, you're going to see a race that's in the 110 to 112 range, which puts him squarely in the mix, if not the horse to beat. I think you should get a pretty decent price on him, even though, he was 36-1 last time. You're definitely not going to get that this time. But I mean, there's so many directions to go. It just seems like anywhere that you land, you're probably going to get 6-1, 8-1. I would think this horse would maybe be in that range, and we'll find out on Friday. But I'm very interested to see how he runs.
Yeah, I like the analysis. Interesting race, very competitive. Jackson, over to you. Who do you think the favorite is going to be, or who do you think is going to be kind of favorite on the morning line? And then where'd you end up?
It's got to be the 5, right?
I felt like it is either the Bust Out, the 5, or Secured Freedom. And I actually think it might be Secured Freedom because
I thought so too.
Derby trail horses just get bet, and he's coming off of a strong a win in the Affirm. I don't know if I want to call it a strong win. Yeah, I want to make it perfect to be on the grass, especially since he got the ring run last time. I went to the 4 Proletariat. I don't know. Did I?
Yeah, Proletariat.
Proletariat. All right, that's what I'm going with in here. I'm a little annoyed the Beyer was so much higher than the time form race because he's probably going to get a tad over bet based on that. But I'm a sucker for any horse that takes that kind of step forward from 2 to 3. And it wasn't like he got the greatest trip ever in there too. I know he was favored, but he was kind of stalking 3 wide throughout. Got the jump on the main rival in there, Jordy Bear, who also returns in this race. And it wasn't like that race was ever really in doubt. I mean, he kept the horse at bay the entire stretch, galloped out way in front of the field. And we know he's capable of running well going the 2 turns based on his form from last year. And with him having somewhat of an inside draw and with him having that tactical speed that he's shown sprinting, I just think he's going to get a really, really sweet trip in here and save a lot of ground, get the jump on the deeper closers, and runs back to the last race. I think he's supposed to be pretty tough and maybe even the horse to beat, but I know he's not going to be a bet like that.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to be bet like that, but he could be the horse to beat off of that last effort. I picked Proletariat in second. I thought that was a very logical one to end up on. I did end up on Bust Out. I know I picked this one in the American Derby as well, and I was pretty disappointed that day. What'd you say?
I said this guy's a chalk eater. Come on.
I know. I'm sorry.
Like 10 horses that can win this race.
There are. But look, I ended up on. I got to go back to the well on this one. I had a strong opinion on him last time, so I got to take one more shot. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll probably just divorce this horse because maybe he just hasn't taken that step forward. But I felt like he hung with much better last time out. I mean, you don't meet the Alpilands or the Immortalized, or you don't meet those sorts in here, and that was, in my opinion, a much tougher field than what he's facing in here. So he gets back to kind of his friends out on the West Coast. So that's why I wanted to give him one more chance. I felt like his other two races at Santa Anita earlier this spring definitely contended pretty deep. Noah, you seem to be laughing pretty good.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, should we mention Mr. AP for Lucas himself?
I was going to say, I want to talk about this horse just because the fact that he's on the grass, to me, in the kickoff race for his 3-year-old season is like a huge red flag.
Well, I mean, the dam won twice on turf, so maybe it's not out of the question. I just think they were probably looking for a decent-sized race for him because, anytime you run second, regardless of what the company is in a grade one like the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, maybe this was just the timetable that worked out for him. I know he's been off for a long time, but I don't see why he can't really handle the grass. I think I'd be more interested in him, or at least more interested in finding out if he's the one that can handle it rather than the Secured Freedoms and the One More Fruits and those horses that are coming out of the Affirmed. I just wanted to mention him because he's the one that Jackson said, claiming it for $150,000. Broke his maiden 2 starts later and then second in one of the biggest grade ones for juvenile. So there you go.
There you go. Jackson, any thoughts on Mr. AP? Whose boat are you in? Do you think it's a good sign that he ended up on the grass? Or do you think it's a bad sign and maybe cause for pause?
I think it's fine. He's got a lot of turf pedigree. The
Pharaohs can do it all.
The stakes program at Del Mar is definitely catered more towards turf races for 3-year-olds rather than dirt. There's just really nothing here. So give him a shot here in a race where he belongs or, is going to be competitive in it, assuming he handles the turf course. If he runs poorly, you just go back to the dirt next time. It's not a big deal.
Fair enough. Mr. AP, probably going to be a pretty good price in this spot. That's the Oceanside Stakes, the opening day feature out at Del Mar.
We could easily spend about 45 minutes on that race.
I think we could
talk about half the field that has legit credentials. I mean, it's a fun race.
It is a fun race. It always comes up a really good one. So obviously a lot to look forward to. Race number 9, State Breds, optional claimers going 6.5. Any opinions in this one, Jackson? I'll stay with you.
Small opinion on It's a Cinch, who, if you look through his dirt form, just never really gets the greatest trips, I don't think. I mean, the race 2 back, okay, he was in between versus the likes of Crew Velocity. I'm not going to be too harsh on that one. You go back to his race at Los Sal in the winter, he won. Right before that, going up against Listen Up Chance, where he didn't have the greatest trip ever. I just think some of his dirt races are better than they look on the page, and he drew outermost of all the speed in here. So I think he's going to trip out. I don't know if he wants to go 6.5 necessarily, but he's going to get a good trip. So little stab.
I like it. It's a cinch for Louis Mendez and the Candyman. Noah, out to you. Any thoughts on this race?
I thought there was maybe a chance that this pace could heat up. This horse has some speed. The favorite, I would think, would be Matt at 5, who's definitely got some speed as well. And there's a couple other horses with some tactical speed that are trying dirt for the first time. So you would think that those turf horses wouldn't want to get any kickbacks. You would think that they would want to get some forward position, which leads me to think that this pace could be pretty hot. The inside runner, Rodrigo Knows, I think I might sprinkle a couple bucks on him. Just been running in a lot of turf races. Hasn't had a lot of dirt form as of recent, but his dirt form's good. 2 for 6 lifetime, a second and a third to go along with that. Only been out of the money in 2 tries on the dirt. Just think his last race was more of a prep than anything. Closed into a slow pace. Going to get a lot more pace today. Inside post doesn't really bother me all that much. Just a matter of whether the pace does materialize, because I think he does need in front of him. He doesn't really have a lot of speed, but maybe one that's a little more likely for second or third. But he's going to be a big number, so why not?
He is. I like it. Rodrigo Knows down on the rail for Kyle Frey and Hector Palma. I ended up here with Geezer for the home team for Doug O'Neill. You mentioned the pace scenario in here and that it could get maybe a little bit hot up front. And this is a horse that 1 loves Del Mar and 2 can come from a little bit off the pace. They ran this horse going 1,000 yards, which again is not 1.5 furlongs, but ran this one in a stake, and they just want to get a race into this horse down at the nighttime meet at Los Alamitos. Can't remember really the last time I saw Doug O'Neill run one out there, but wanted to just get a run in before pointing to Del Mar. So for me, it was Geezer. That was where I ended up. I felt like this horse is going to be kind of tactically placed. You get a guy like a Misael Jaramillo first time up who's going to get some forward position. And this horse definitely is almost that all or nothing. 6 wins, just the 1 second. Does have 5 thirds. But I'm just hoping Jaramillo gets him in good enough early position and is able to get the job done when they turn for home, because I do think there's a chance that this pace heats up on the front end. So a small stab for me with Geezer. Any other horses you guys want to talk about in this one before we move to the finale?
Nope.
All right. Finale time, race number 10, going a mile, maiden special weight on the grass. Noah, I'll go back out to you. Thoughts on the closing race of opening day at Del Mar?
Yeah, typically these finales are pretty difficult. I thought this one was maybe a little bit more straightforward. Peachy Canyon probably going to be the favorite. I think there is definitely some respect there. Just been facing better in that Kentucky circuit. She was a little disappointing last time because
She was bad.
on paper it looks like she closed pretty well, but there were some other horses that were behind her that closed even better, and they were huge prices that day. I mean, she was favored, so maybe it was the break. Maybe second off the bench she'll be a little bit more conditioned. I do like the fact that Umberto goes here. I think that probably has to speak volumes for a trainer that we don't see on the West Coast very often, if not at all. So I think you probably have to use her to some degree. Grandma Mary was the one I think I'm going to get a little bit cute and maybe single on the back end or at least use pretty heavily on the back end, and either the double or the pick 3. I ran a 67 buyer, funny number, in her first career start, and that was August of last year. Just look up and down this field. I know it's mostly on grass, but there's nobody in this field that's really running much better than that. Clearly something happened in the debutante. She's been off for a long, long time, but just to bring her back in this race on opening day, I think probably speaks volumes. I don't know how much she's going to be able to handle the turf, but I'll tell you what, that inside post with the tactical speed that she's got is going to be very, very advantageous. We'll just find out if she's able to handle it, but she should be probably a square price. I think it's enough for me to find out.
Yeah, I think you're definitely going to get double-digit prices on her there. We missed a couple questions. Chris Couples, what price is Unrivaled Time going to be in the Oceanside? Any thoughts
At least
there?
10.
We should be like 30.
I don't know about 30, but he'll be a big price.
Yeah. Poor
Yeah,
Alex.
this guy Alex was flying all the way out from North Carolina just for opening day. That's dedication right there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, he left. He leaves right now.
Oh
he
my
might go on the
God.
plane, actually.
Can you give us some winners, Alex, please? I'd appreciate it.
Jackson, out to you. Your thoughts on the opening day closing race card?
Tough race. I went to Goodies for D'Amato and Hector Barros.
Of course, it's no shot.
No shot. No shot. It just feels like a horse that's going to really trip out in here in a race where they all kind of look similar. She has that tactical speed before they placed. Last time, I do wish she'd run a little bit better. She got herself in a really good position, and then waiting behind horses briefly, she was. And then when she did get out, I wish she would have accelerated a little bit more. She kind of just stayed along at the same pace. But sometimes that can be an indicator of a horse that just wants to run a little bit further as well. And I do think she galloped out well enough that makes me think she'll run 2 turns. So yeah, I went with her. I don't think she's going to be any kind of crazy price in here, but it's a difficult race, so that's one I would be looking at.
Yeah, those grindy types do really well at Del Mar.
They do.
Yeah,
they do. Grindy sprinters got 2 turns. Usually a good angle.
It is typically a good angle, and that's kind of where I ended up as well. I landed on a lukewarm choice with Goodies. I felt like I love that run style where they're sprinting and they are just kind of running in place that they don't.
Yeah, that's gonna be your favorite now.
I do enjoy when a sprinter is just kind of running in place. That typically is indicative of a horse that wants to go longer. Phil D'Amato going 2 sprints to a route, very strong with those numbers. You get one of the top guys in the barn in Hector Barrios to ride. And Phil D'Amato and that whole crew, you can see the little red feather, and that's the silks that this one's going to be in. They want to win on opening day. They point to Del Mar. They want to win every race that they can. I do think this horse is going to be kind of primed and ready. And if there's ever a peak performance, I think we should expect it on Friday from Goodies. So that's probably where I would land in the finale. But it is wide open. I even gave the look to Helen's Time right to the inside as well. Just a second-time starter getting onto the grass. Not this time filly, and not this time can produce anything. They can run on the moon, as some might say. But gets first-time Lasix here. I thought that debut run was more than acceptable, and I think could definitely take another step up. So I was between, I'd probably use 2 between Goodies and Helen's Time. Jackson?
The only other horse I wanted to mention was the 12, Novita Dominga, who, if I recall, she was working pretty well going into that debut. And then she made a mess of the post parade, made a mess of the start, and then hasn't been seen since. now she has a 12 post against a tough field. If she's some kind of price, I will find a way to use her in this race. If she's going to be 5-1, I don't want her. But I just do think she was very highly thought of once upon a time.
She was highly thought of, highly regarded. You guys have clearly had a fun time on this show. I've also had a fun time on this show.
Well, look at someone just posted on Twitter.
Yeah, Kevin.
Look at what?
Look, Kevin just posted on Twitter.
I mean, that's one of the best pictures I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I would also lose all professionalism in that moment. I gotta get that picture for our intro next time you join us, Noah. That'd be good. But that was the opening day card out at Del Mar. Jackson, as you guys continue for another week out at the spa.
Yeah, this show's going off the rails. I'm excited for opening day at Del Mar, and I'm super pumped that we finally have gotten the Turf Pick 3 at Del Mar. We've been asking for years and years and years. It's finally here. It's going to be the bet I play the most this summer besides win bets, and it's going to be really difficult. But if it only takes one to have a winning summer with those.
And when you play that bet on Saturday, make sure you single IUSO on the 2 in the last. There you go.
There you go. That's what you hear. And obviously we went over Friday's cards, so that probably confused many people. But no worries there. If you do play the Turf Pick 3, we do have that as a new wager offered at Del Mar. Finally, it's the 15% takeout, $3 minimum. Obviously, the $3 late pick 3 and the $5 double still intact as well. The $2 classic pick 6. So it's all sorts of fun. Should be carryover city for that wager at Del Mar as well. But the Turf Pick 3, definitely something, Jackson, I'm looking forward to playing the most. Real quick before we get on out of here, we'll pivot out to New York. What do you have in terms of contests? Anything good this weekend?
No.
Yes. Very similar to last week. The big ones are obviously going to be Saturday this week with the Duncan Diana this upcoming Saturday. We are going to be seeding the $300 contest with $2,500 again, as did last week. We were super happy with the turnout. And then, you got the nice cups here.
Nice.
I had an ice cube that had the Naira Bets logo on it too, but it melted. And then also on Saturday, it's going to be new this week. We have our $80 feeder into our $1,000 Jim Dandy challenge. That's going to be coming up on August 1st. So feeders are starting for that. They're also live on Horse Earnings too. So it's coming up quick. And we're getting – it feels like summer's finally here. Saratoga's the third weekend, opening week at Del Mar. Fired up.
Yeah, and on top of that, you have Haskell weekend. You have Kings Plate preview day up at Woodbine. It's the summer's here. The summer's back. So thank you guys for joining. Be sure to participate in some of those Naira Bets contests if you're looking at Saratoga, but also focus in on opening day Friday at Del Mar and opening weekend here as we're back at the Seaside Oval. I got about an hour till I got to head up there, but until then, we'll see you guys for the next one. Thank you guys for watching. For Ryan Anderson, or for Jackson Muniz and Noah Maher, I'm Ryan Anderson. Thanks for watching the Gallop Out. Peace.